Michael Bisping and Anthony Smith discuss Alex Pereira's next likely opponent, Magomed Ankalaev. Following UFC 307 and Pereira's brutal beatdown of a very tough Khalil Roundtree Jr., there's been a lot of talk regarding Poatin's next opponent. As things stand, Ankalaev is the most logical challenger for Pereira. However, Magomed still has Alexander Rakic to take on. Bisping emphasized on the fact that Alex hasn't really fought a high-level wrestler yet. While Anthony Smith questioned if Ankalaev has that highest level of wrestling everyone claims he has, because Magomed himself says that he is a striker, not a wrestler.
The only knock so far is that he hasn't gone out against, and I know Jan Blachowicz is a black belt in BJJ and had some success in the takedowns, but like a real heavy wrestler, you know, like a Magomed Ankalaev. And if he sticks at light heavyweight...
I got to push you back on this one a little bit, because I did say the same thing. And then I was doing a little bit of research and digging into this Rakic Ankalaev fight. Other than Blachowicz, there's not a shit ton of takedowns that Magomed Ankalaev actually shoots. He's ended up on top. He's ended up on top a couple times.
Well, he said he's not going to shoot as well. But
he doesn't even call himself a wrestler. He says he's a striker.
Yeah, but he has got a wrestling pedigree.
He can wrestle. Yeah, I'm not saying he can't. Yeah, he can
I've seen him shoot some bloody good takedowns.
John Anik shares best potential matchups for Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland, and Dricus du Plessis. The UFC middleweight division has been on a wild ride lately. It all started when Anderson Silva finally lost his belt, and after some chaos, Israel Adesanya came out on top, defending his title 5 times. Then Alex Pereira stormed in and took Izzy out at UFC 281, but Adesanya got his revenge at UFC 287 with an all-time knockout. Just when it seemed like Adesanya would hold the title for a while, Sean Strickland shocked everyone by becoming champ, only to lose it to Dricus du Plessis, who's already defended it once against Izzy. With the title bouncing around like crazy, here's how John thinks the middleweight division should be running. I don't think it's hyperbolic or overstating it to suggest that the middleweight division right now has never been stronger, right? Sean Strickland's a worthy #1 contender. Nassourdine Imavov, on it could go. John defended his pick by highlighting how Strickland has come through for the UFC, mentioning his recent win over Paulo Costa and his razor-thin decision loss to current champ Dricus du Plessis. He also praised Strickland for risking his top 5 spot against Pereira back in 2022. Well, in a straight meritocracy, I'm on record as promoting Sean Strickland because he has repeatedly stepped up for the promotion. Let us not forget he put his #4 ranking on the line against Alex Pereira when nobody wanted to fight Poatan. He has stepped into main events against guys. He stepped into a 5-round fight against Paulo Costa, and he fought Dricus du Plessis toe-to-toe. So in a straight meritocracy, if I'm the promoter, I lean Strickland. Even though Adesanya is no longer the champ, he's still the biggest name in the middleweight division. So when John was asked who would be the best opponent for Adesanya's return, he pointed to Khamzat Chimaev, who's set to face Robert Whittaker at UFC 308. Pairing Adesanya with Chimaev could let Adesanya flex his star power and boost Khamzat's popularity in the process. I think if you're Izzy, you just lay back in the cut and maybe it's Khamzat. I mean, that's a fight that I think would have some appeal, but Khamzat could be in a championship setting. Alexander Hernandez got back into the win column at UFC 307 this past weekend, scoring a split decision win over Austin Hubbard. During his post-fight interview with the media, Hernandez revealed that he, his teammate Brandon Royval, and his coach witnessed a shooting in Salt Lake City a few hours before his fight. "On the way home for breakfast, I saw someone get shot," Hernandez said. "My boy Brandon Royval chased down the shooter. Kinda crazy. I was like, dude, we got stuff to do today. Bro, we don't have time to play Ice-T on SVU. We gotta get to the freaking hotel. Dude, I just copped an avocado toast and I was walking home back to the hotel. We turn this corner and we hear 5 shots rattle off. Brandon loves to yell gunshots. I'm like, it could be freaking anything. He's like, no, it's gunshots. And I'm like, it could be. And then we hear another round. I'm like, that sounds a little gunshotty. And then these guys come panting, like running past us. And Brandon goes, yo, what happened? He's like, nothing, just run. Turns out that was the guy with the gun. And then Brandon, like a damn Doberman, goes running after him. And I'm like, dude, the hotel is the other way. We gotta go the other way. And he's gone. And so I'm like, bro, I'm warming up. I'm going back to the hotel. So I start going that way. He's on the prowl like Sherlock Holmes and he's chasing after him. And then eventually the cops and Brandon saw this guy and I went through my rollout and breath session and everyone you know made it back together, Hernandez concluded. Brendan Schaub reacted to Daniel Cormier's comments regarding Jones being MMA's Michael Jordan. DC understandably dismisses this claim, as him and Bones have a heated history together. So when Kamaru Usman on his podcast compared Jones to MJ, DC threatened to walk out of the interview. Since Kamaru made this comparison, it has become one of the most talked about topics in the entire MMA world. It was therefore not surprising to see podcaster and former UFC heavyweight Brendan Schaub fight Josh Thompson over whether or not John Jones is indeed the Michael Jordan of MMA. I saw DC on the podcast with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo, and there was this back and forth banter about how John Jones, they're trying to compare John Jones to like the Michael Jordan of MMA, Thompson said on his weighing in podcast, at which point Schaub interjected with "That's fair." Thompson, however, was not sure. Is it fair? I think it's also very difficult to put someone in that Jordan era kind of thing, he protested. Why? He's the greatest of all time, Schaub asked defiantly. Thompson, however, felt that Jones' testing positive for banned PEDs may be grounds to disqualify him from the GOAT conversation entirely, to which Schaub essentially repeated Nate Diaz's famous line, "Everybody's on steroids," but in a more roundabout manner. Josh, dude, you're not some casual dude. You've been around the game as long as you have. How many guys do we know that were dabbling in the dark arts and doing sauce, and most people don't know? Schaub asked Thompson with a sly, knowing smile while accusing a large contingent of UFC fighters of essentially being drug cheats. Max Holloway's next fight could be the most epic test of his career. We've got Ilia Topuria in the mix, an absolute beast with explosive power and insane speed. The guy's been running through opponents like it's nothing. But here's the thing, Max has faced heavy hitters before and come out on top. This dude has cardio for days, and his volume unmatched. Topuria might be at his peak, sure, but Max at featherweight is a different animal. He can overwhelm you with his relentless pace, throwing so many strikes that you can't catch a breath. So while Ilya's out there looking to drown his opponents, Max just might flip the script and make Ilia drown in a sea of punches. Never count out blessed when it comes to reclaiming that belt. This is a make or break moment for Max Holloway's career. A loss here could put his future on shaky ground, and it's no exaggeration to say he cannot afford to lose. But here's the wild card. Max has a win over Justin Gaethje at lightweight. That victory alone keeps the door open for him in the future, giving him options that go beyond featherweight. But right now, he's got to get through Topuria first. This fight isn't just about the belt, it's about Max's legacy and keeping his options alive in the UFC. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for daily MMA news.